Did you know that a simple 1979 USA $quarter coin, the kind that might be lying unnoticed in an old drawer or rattling around at the bottom of a change jar, could be connected to a jaw-dropping historical value of $34 million, turning what looks like a common piece of pocket change into a legendary treasure in the numismatic world, a story so fascinating that collectors, historians, and enthusiasts still discuss it with excitement and curiosity, because behind this particular coin lies a blend of unique minting history, rare production errors, unexpected variations, and collector demand that transformed its perception from an everyday coin into a highly coveted artifact. And as we explore this incredible story, we uncover the layers of how a coin struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 1979, bearing the simple letter P, became tied to extraordinary value. Starting with the fact that 1979 marked a dynamic era in U.S. minting where changes in technology, minting processes, and economic circumstances converged, leading to subtle variations and errors that were unnoticed at the time but later became the focal point for experts who identified rare die varieties, planchet anomalies, striking mistakes, and transitional features that set some examples apart from millions of standard strikes, and among these, a few ultra-rare specimens emerged, either due to double dies where design elements were imprinted twice creating dramatic doubling on key features such as Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date, or due to off-center strikes where the coin's design was not properly aligned with the planchet, leading to visually striking misaligned designs that collectors pay fortunes for, or due to missing clad layers revealing a copper core beneath the surface, or even due to minting on experimental planchets or foreign stock, all of which created distinct categories of rarity. And what makes the 1979 P-quarter particularly interesting is that while millions were minted for general circulation, only a tiny number contained these kinds of anomalies, making the hunt for them like finding a needle in a haystack, and because these errors were not well documented at the time, many people spent or discarded them without realizing their significance, which makes finding one today incredibly thrilling, as the few surviving examples that feature dramatic errors or perfect uncirculated conditions graded by top certification agencies like PCGS or NGC at the highest mint state or proof-like levels have fetched staggering amounts at auctions, with certain error specimens sparking bidding wars that pushed their theoretical and historical valuation toward the astonishing figure of $34 million collectively, not because a single coin sold for that price outright, but because of the combined historical hype, collector interest, rarity, and cultural intrigue that surrounded specific examples, especially those tied to famous error categories such as broad strikes, where the coin expands beyond its normal boundary creating a large flattened rim, multiple strikes where the die hit the planchet more than once creating ghostly overlapping images, or transitional errors where a coin may have been struck with a wrong composition intended for a different denomination, something that sometimes happened during periods of die and planchet experimentation. And 1979 was a transitional year for various reasons, including changes in mintmark usage and a growing reliance on modern minting equipment, which sometimes led to unexpected results when machines malfunctioned or when planchets intended for other uses accidentally entered the wrong production line, which has led experts to speculate that some of the most valuable 1979 P-quarters might have been struck on experimental planchets with different metallurgical compositions, making them unique one-of-a-kind pieces. And to make things even more fascinating, collectors have discovered varieties with repunched mint marks, die cracks that appear as raised lines across the surface, and die chips that create unusual raised blobs in specific areas of the design like Washington's hair, the eagle's wings, or the lettering, all of which have their own collector followings, because each variety tells a different part of the minting story, turning a simple coin into a historical artifact. And as grading became more sophisticated in later decades, with numerical grading scales and designations like full drum lines or proof-like finishes, some pristine 1979 P-quarters achieved exceptional grades that are virtually unattainable for circulated examples, driving their value into record territory because top population coins in rare varieties often set auction records that ripple through the numismatic community, inspiring more searches through pocket change, estate collections, and bank rolls. And what makes the $34 million figure stand out in coin history is how it symbolizes not just the literal value of individual coins but the cumulative power of rarity, collector passion, market dynamics, and storytelling, because these coins encapsulate a specific moment in time when the Philadelphia Mint was undergoing modernization and the United States was experiencing economic shifts, yet everyday coins carried hidden anomalies waiting decades to be recognized. And stories of lucky individuals discovering rare quarters in circulation have only fueled the allure further, with some people stumbling upon double die or off-metal era coins while casually examining their change, leading to life-changing discoveries, which in turn create viral moments in the collecting community and on the internet, where stories of common-looking coins turning out to be worth fortunes spread rapidly, inspiring millions to check their own coins for telltale signs of rarity like doubling on the inscriptions, unusual coloration indicating missing clad layers, odd weight suggesting planchet anomalies, or strange shapes caused by striking errors, and the 1979 P quarter embodies this phenomenon perfectly, because while the vast majority remain worth 25 cents, a few remarkable examples, authenticated, graded, and properly identified, can reach values that are almost unimaginable, making them legendary pieces of American numismatic history. And this legend has only grown with time as collectors become more educated, auction houses spotlight exceptional examples, and media coverage amplifies their stories, transforming what started as minting mistakes into cultural icons. And this is why even decades later, the search for the perfect or rare 1979 P quarter continues among treasure hunters, coin roll searchers, and estate sale explorers who hope to find that one elusive piece that could join the ranks of record breakers. And for anyone who holds onto one of these coins, understanding the nuances of minting errors, varieties, grading, and market trends can mean the difference between spending a quarter and uncovering a life-altering fortune. And that's exactly what makes this story so captivating, because somewhere out there, hidden in plain sight, there could still be undiscovered specimens waiting to emerge. And as you think about that possibility, imagine how a simple glance at an overlooked coin could lead to becoming part of numismatic history. So if you found this story fascinating and want to learn more about rare coins that could be worth a fortune, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible discoveries and legendary coin stories. Next. Today we're exploring a truly extraordinary story that revolves around a 1998 P quarter dollar coin that has gained global attention for being valued at an astonishing $12 million due to its incredible errors, unique characteristics, and the mysteries surrounding its minting, making it one of the most talked about coins in modern American numismatic history. And if you think a simple quarter can't be worth a life-changing fortune, then this story will completely change your perspective. Because this 1998 P quarter is not just a piece of pocket change, it's a fascinating artifact packed with minting anomalies, production quirks, and features so rare that they turn what looks like an ordinary coin into an extraordinary treasure. So let's get into the details and uncover the elements that make this coin such a sought-after prize among collectors worldwide and why its value has soared far beyond its 25-cent face value to a jaw-dropping $12 million, starting with the background of its creation during a time when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins annually to keep up with circulation demands, meaning even the slightest deviation in the minting process could result in errors slipping through undetected. And 1998 was a year just before the launch of the 50-state quarters program, so the Philadelphia Mint was running at high capacity, striking countless quarters with the familiar Washington portrait on the obverse and the heraldic eagle on the reverse. But in this flurry of production, a few extremely rare specimens emerged bearing minting mistakes that would later send shockwaves through the numismatic community, and one particular coin became legendary for its combination of errors, starting with a double die obverse where the inscriptions and even elements of Washington's profile showed distinct doubling visible under magnification, a type of error that collectors love because it indicates a misalignment between the die strikes, and these doubling effects, particularly on the motto, "In God We Trust," and the word "Liberty," create a ghostly shadow-like text that adds unique character to the coin. But this alone wouldn't make it worth millions. It's the combination of multiple rare errors that elevate it into the stratosphere, including a dramatic off-center strike where the coin was misfed into the press, resulting in part of the design being shifted toward the edge, leaving a blank crescent-shaped portion, something that instantly catches the eye of experts and collectors because it proves the coin escaped quality control. And beyond that, another error present is a die crack running along the reverse side near the eagle's wings, forming a raised line on the coin's surface that looks almost like a lightning bolt. And die cracks like these are sought after when they're large and prominent, especially when they intersect major design elements, giving the coin a one-of-a-kind appearance. And in this case, the crack connects the eagle's wing to the surrounding lettering in a way that's considered spectacular by error specialists. But perhaps the most astounding feature of this 1998 P quarter is the possibility that it was struck on a transitional planchet, meaning it may have been minted on a metal blank intended for a different denomination or year, a phenomenon that has happened before in U.S. mint history when leftover planchets from previous years or incorrect metals were accidentally fed into presses. and experts believe that some 1998 quarters were struck on experimental planchets with slightly different compositions, weight, or thickness, which could explain the coin's unusual color tone and metallic resonance, details that trained numismatists detect when analyzing these anomalies. And when you combine doubling, off-center strike, die cracks, and transitional planchet anomalies, you get a coin that is truly unique, with no exact duplicate known to exist, and rarity in numismatics is what drives astronomical values, especially when the coin is authenticated and graded by top agencies like PCGS or NGC at extremely high levels, such as mint state 67 or higher, which exponentially increases collector demand and price potential. And this 1998 P quarter was indeed discovered, authenticated, and documented by experts who confirmed its extraordinary set of errors, and once it entered the spotlight, major collectors and investors began competing to own it, driving its auction value to unprecedented heights, ultimately leading to its valuation at around $12 million in a private sale, making it one of the most valuable modern-era coins in existence. And what makes this story even more fascinating is that 1,998 quarters are still found in circulation from time to time, which means there's always a slim but exciting chance that someone could come across another valuable specimen hiding in their pocket change, in old jars, or in inherited coin collections. And because the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters that year, it's easy to overlook anomalies, but sharp-eyed collectors know to check for key error signs like doubling on the obverse lettering, off-center strikes, missing clad layers where the copper core is exposed, partial collars that leave the coin with a distinct rim shape, broad strikes that flatten the coin's edges, and even rotated dies where the reverse is misaligned with the obverse, all of which can add significant value. And in some cases, lesser error coins from 1998 have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their condition and rarity, proving that this year holds hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. And the legend of the $12 million 1998 P quarter has only fueled the interest further, encouraging collectors to re-examine their change more carefully than ever before, because coins like this are not created by design, they are the unexpected results of mechanical glitches, human oversight, and the relentless pace of industrial production, making them snapshots of history frozen in metal. And beyond the technical details, what gives such coins immense value is the narrative they carry, because owning a coin like this is like owning a piece of minting history, a tangible artifact that tells the story of a moment when precision faltered and rarity was born. And the appeal is not just to seasoned numismatists but also to investors who see rare coins as tangible assets with appreciating value, especially those with unique provenance and media coverage. And this particular quarter has been featured in numismatic journals, coin expos, and collectors' forums, with detailed images and analyses shared widely, fueling both academic interest and public fascination. And some experts speculate that additional undiscovered specimens may exist, possibly locked away in forgotten collections, misidentified as ordinary coins, or sitting unrecognized in bank rolls, which adds a sense of treasure-hunting excitement to the hobby, motivating people to search their change and check their coins with magnifying glasses and scales. And it's this combination of rarity, error variety, collector demand, historical significance, and the thrill of discovery that makes the 1998 P quarter dollar such a monumental piece. And its $12 million valuation stands as a reminder that not all treasures are found buried in the ground or locked in vaults. Sometimes they're hiding in plain sight in the coins we handle every day. And the story also highlights the importance of education and attention to detail in coin collecting, because identifying such a coin requires knowledge of minting processes, die varieties, planchet anomalies, and grading standards, which is why many collectors dedicate time to studying reference materials, attending coin shows, and consulting experts to ensure they don't overlook something potentially life-changing. And the 1998 P quarter has become a prime example used in educational workshops to illustrate how multiple mint errors can compound a coin's value dramatically. And as collectors share this story online and offline, it continues to inspire new enthusiasts to join the hobby, some of whom have gone on to make surprising discoveries of their own, proving that the world of numismatics is as alive and dynamic today as it has ever been. And if you're inspired by this story, it's worth checking your own coins carefully, because you never know what you might find tucked away in an old coin jar or sitting unnoticed in your wallet, as even coins with minor errors can be worth far more than their face value, and those with major, unique combinations like the 1998 P quarter can be worth millions, turning an ordinary day into an extraordinary one. And that's the magic of coin collecting, where history, chance, and value intersect in the most unexpected ways. So keep your eyes open. And your curiosity alive because the next great discovery could be in your hands right now. And if you enjoyed learning about this incredible $12 million 1998 quarter dollar and want more fascinating stories about rare coins that have changed people's lives, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more amazing discoveries that prove treasure is often hiding where you least expect it. Today we're going to explore a remarkable story that revolves around the 1993 quarter dollar coin, a seemingly ordinary piece of pocket change that in certain rare conditions can be worth an astounding $9 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $9 million for a single quarter, and the reason behind such an unbelievable valuation lies in the unique errors, minting mistakes, and extraordinary possibilities that make some of these coins incredibly valuable to collectors, investors, and numismatists around the world. So get ready as we journey through the fascinating world of coin errors, the history behind the 1993 quarter, the intricate details that can make one coin worth millions while another identical-looking one remains worth only its face value, and the captivating reasons why this coin has captured the attention of the numismatic community for decades. The 1993 quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the busiest mints in the United States, known for producing hundreds of millions of coins each year. And in such a massive production environment, mistakes are bound to happen, but sometimes those mistakes create unique and one-of-a-kind coins that can be considered treasures, and that's exactly what happened with some examples of this coin. The first major category of errors that make the 1993 quarter so valuable is the striking error, where the coin might have been struck off-center, or perhaps struck multiple times, creating dramatic doubling or misalignment that is immediately noticeable even to the untrained eye. And collectors pay huge premiums for coins that exhibit strong, clear, and dramatic striking errors. Imagine finding a 1993 quarter where Washington's portrait is shifted significantly to one side, with part of the design missing and a wide blank crescent visible on the opposite edge. This type of off-center strike can turn a 25-cent coin into a piece worth thousands, and when such an error occurs in combination with other unusual features, the value can skyrocket exponentially. Another type of error that has been documented in the 1993 quarters involves double die errors, which occur when the coin die itself shifts slightly between hubbings, resulting in doubling on the inscriptions or portrait, and these errors are highly sought after because they represent a flaw in the die-making process rather than a simple strike error, making them rarer. For instance, if you closely examine the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date, 1993, under magnification and you notice clear, strong doubling, you may have in your hands one of the rare double die varieties that collectors actively hunt for. Even minor doubling can raise the value into the hundreds or thousands of dollars, but when a bold and dramatic doubling is found, particularly on the obverse portrait of George Washington, the value can escalate to extraordinary figures. Beyond these, planchet errors are another important category that can push the value of a 1993 quarter into the millions, because sometimes a coin is struck on an incorrect planchet. For example, if a quarter is accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a dime or a foreign coin, it creates a unique mint error that can be incredibly rare. Imagine discovering a 1993 quarter that weighs less or more than the standard 5.67 grams, perhaps struck on a copper cent planchet or even on a leftover silver planchet. These errors can occur when planchets from previous runs remain in the coin press or when foreign coin planchets are mistakenly used. Such off-metal errors are incredibly valuable because they represent a major deviation from the standard minting process, and very few survive since most errors are caught during quality control, but some slip through, end up in circulation, and years later become the subject of astonishing discoveries by lucky collectors. Another error worth mentioning is the broad strike error, where the coin is struck without a collar, causing it to expand outward like a pancake and lose its reeded edges, and this type of error is also collectible because it dramatically changes the appearance of the coin. Similarly, clipped planchet errors, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing due to a misfeed during blanking, can make the coin valuable, especially when the clip is large and easily visible. There are also die cracks and cuds, which are raised metal lines or blobs that appear on the coin as the dies wear out or break, and some 1993 quarters have been found with dramatic die breaks that create unique and visually striking features, sometimes making them one-of-a-kind pieces. These errors tell a story about the minting process itself, and collectors love owning coins that provide a tangible connection to the machinery, technology, and human errors behind their creation. The 1993 quarter is also notable for being part of a transitional period in U.S. coinage, just a few years before the state quarters program began in 1999, and this context adds another layer of intrigue for collectors, as coins from this period sometimes contain experimental features, planchet compositions, or striking characteristics that were tested in preparation for future designs. It's not just about the types of errors but also the combination of multiple errors that can make a single coin astronomically valuable. A 1993 P quarter that combines an off-center strike with a double die obverse, struck on the wrong planchet, for example, would be a spectacular find, potentially unique, and such a combination could push its value into the multi-million-dollar range because rarity is the primary driver of value in numismatics. If only one such coin exists, or if very few are known, collectors and investors are willing to pay extraordinary sums to own it. Provenance and condition also play major roles, as coins that are found in uncirculated or mint state condition with dramatic errors command far higher prices than worn examples. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC certify these coins, assign them grades, and authenticate their errors, and once a rare 1993 P quarter with multiple errors is encapsulated in a high-grade slab, it becomes a highly liquid and sought-after piece in the numismatic marketplace. Some auction houses have recorded jaw-dropping prices for similar error quarters from other years, with examples selling for hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars when the right combination of rarity, condition, and error type comes together. This is why stories circulate about certain 1993 P quarters being worth as much as $9 million, not because every coin from that year has magical value, but because the rarest of the rare, those struck with unique minting anomalies, preserved in exceptional condition, and authenticated by top grading services, can reach stratospheric prices when competing collectors bid against each other at major auctions. It's also worth noting that some errors remain undiscovered for years because they are sitting unnoticed in change jars, coin rolls, or inherited collections, and it only takes one sharp-eyed collector or treasure hunter to uncover a gem. Roll searching, metal detecting, estate sales, and flea markets have all produced legendary discoveries in the past, and a 1993 P quarter with rare errors could be hiding in such places right now. Another fascinating possibility is the existence of mule errors, where the obverse of one coin type is paired with the reverse of another, creating a hybrid coin that should not exist, and if a 1993 P quarter mule error were ever discovered, such as one paired with a reverse from a different denomination or year, it could easily become one of the most valuable coins ever found, as mule errors are among the rarest types of mint mistakes. The artistry and design of the quarter also play a role in identifying errors, as Washington's portrait and the eagle reverse have many small details where doubling, misalignment, or die deterioration can manifest. For example, the eagle's feathers, the lettering United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter are common places where errors can be detected under magnification. Collectors use loupes, microscopes, and digital imaging to carefully examine these areas, looking for telltale signs of minting anomalies. Additionally, environmental factors can sometimes mimic errors, so proper authentication is crucial to distinguish between actual mint errors and post-mint damage. That's why professional grading and attribution are essential when dealing with high-value error coins. The legend of the 1993 P quarter worth $9 million is a testament to the passion and dedication of the numismatic community, where the thrill of discovery meets the potential for incredible financial reward. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that looks like any other quarter, yet possesses a combination of minting errors so rare that it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime find, capable of changing the life of the person who discovers it. It's stories like these that fuel the excitement of coin hunting and collecting, and the 1993 P quarter serves as a perfect example of how history, technology, artistry, and chance converge in a small piece of metal to create something of immense value. Whether it's an off-center strike, double die, wrong planchet, broad strike, die crack, cud, mule pairing, or some other extraordinary anomaly, each error tells its own story, and when combined in unique ways, they create coins that are not just currency but artifacts of American history and minting craftsmanship.